Let's see here. Yeah, we're gonna be here for a little bit, guys. Answering some questions. Anything you may ask about UFC 289, we're here to answer. So yeah, we're waiting right now. Waiting till some people join up. Get back home. Yeah, man. Any questions you guys got about UFC 289? Feel free to ask away. Any questions in general as well. Because we're here. Decent fight this weekend. You know, not the greatest. But acceptable. Acceptable, I think. It's a good card, actually, once you get off the pay-per-view. The co-main event is what I'm most excited for, in my opinion. I think everybody is, to be honest. It's not like some, the hardcore fans are watching this fight. No, everybody knows. Charles Oliveira vs. Beneil Dariush is the fight to watch. So, yeah. Fairly intriguing. And now we just wait, man. Just wait. We'd be breaking down the card, looking through it, seeing what I think, and what I got to say about some certain things. Thank you guys for 341 subscribers, by the way. Brought to you in part by MMA Joey, of course. But yeah, we got live chat up, so we're on it, man. If anybody asks anything, we're gonna be there, man. We're gonna be ready to go. Let me just 1 second, just adjust everything. Hold on, everybody. This is slightly an issue. Let's see here. Let me see here. Did that bring us back? Did that bring us back? That does bring us back. Good. Bring us back, man. Oh. Perfect. Yeah. See how sturdy is that? Not that sturdy. Not that sturdy, clearly. It should be a little bit more sturdy now. Get there. I got some room to maneuver. Like a cowboy. There we go. We're good right here. Okay, man. We're going to be breaking down the entire UFC 289 card here. Of course. And we are going to have videos pretty much on... Maybe not. I'm going to try and get as many videos out on these fights that I can, but a little bit busy of a week this week, graduating and such. But, okay. Yeah, I'm not talking about the strawweight fight right now. Pick'em's fight. Flip a coin on that one. David Dvorak versus Steven. Sorry about that. I think David Dvorak's gonna win that. Don't know how he's the favorite. I mean, the underdog. So weird odds, man. I haven't seen some of the lower fights on the early prelims. I haven't seen that. Fight start at 7. That's good, man. That's good. I'm happy the fight start at 7 because got some things going on before that. So that's good. That's good. Moving up the card, got Kyle Nelson versus Blake Builder. That's just a bit, isn't it? That's how a lot of these fights are on this fight card. Like, yeah, Kyle Nelson. Real excited for that one. I don't know. It's a decent one. Decent. Eamon Zabi versus Querling. Decent fight. Decent fight. Miranda Maverick versus Jasmine. Okay. All right. Just keep going up the card. That's the first good fight of the card. Is the third fight on the prelims? Yeah, the third fight on the prelims. Chris Curtis versus Nasruddin Amaivov. Chris Curtis is coming off that loss to Kelvin Gastelum, if you don't remember that. And Nasruddin Amaivov is coming off of a loss to Chris Curtis's teammate over there at Syndicate MMA in Las Vegas. Extreme Couture with Sean Strickland's teammate, obviously, is Chris Curtis, and that's the last man to beat Nasruddin Amaivov. I think you gotta go Chris Curtis there, especially because he's an underdog as well, which is just like, I mean, are we really doing this? Like, come on now. I think we know Chris Curtis is gonna win this fight. I don't know how Nasruddin Amaivov is the favorite here. I just don't get it. Personally. Maybe it's just me. I don't see it that way. Marc-Andre Barriault versus Eric Anders. I got Marc-Andre right there. I don't trust Eric Anders, man. I just don't. Don't know why. I just don't trust him. Guys, I've done like no research on this card. It's already pretty much Wednesday, and I gotta get out any predictions. I gotta get all the predictions by Friday, pretty much. I haven't done any predictions on this fight yet. I might just release these predictions right here if worse comes to worse. But you know, it's just a bit of a, like, I don't know. I feel like, do you guys really need an entire video breakdown on Miranda Maverick versus Jasmine Jasudavicius, bro? No, you don't need a breakdown on that. That can be lumped in. That'll be lumped in. I'm doing Miranda Maverick's fight, Kyle Nelson. I'm gonna lump in. I'm gonna start doing prelims and then like main card predictions, because I might separate it. Like David Dvorak could get his own video, but maybe not even, because he's fighting a short notice guy. But like Maria Oliveira versus Dino Belletto, no, it's not getting it. No. It's just not getting it. Not getting a whole video anymore on my channel, because that was the problem that I was running into when I was making videos predicting fights. I did it with UFC Kansas City. I did it with, I think, UFC 288 as well. I would predict the lower fights first, make all these videos on the lower fights, and then never get ready for the big fights. So I would never go on and actually get, like, I never did a Max Holloway versus Arnold Allen full prediction video. You know that I never got to that. But I'm planning on getting it on these fights. And Jacob's in the chat. Good to have him here, man. Good to have him here. Nate Landwehr versus Dan Ige, man. That's a better fight. I'm excited for that fight. Nate Landwehr is gonna get tested in that one, man. Who are you talking to? I'm talking to you right now. Talking to you right now. Yeah, Dan Ige versus Nate Landwehr. That's a good fight, but it's just a bit. It's not on the main card. Again, like I said, the prelims are pretty much better, I think, for on the majority of it. Like Dan Ige versus Nate Landwehr, and Chris Curtis versus Nasruddin Imavov should be on the main card, but those fights are gonna be kind of bangers, I think. So I think they're throwing those on there on the free fights to be like buy the pay-per-view. Because if you watched, some of these fights that were on the main card, you wouldn't be buying them. You would not be buying it. But yeah, that'll be a tough test for Nate Landwehr. I like Nate Landwehr, but I don't know if he's ready for a ranked featherweight contender just yet. I mean, I think he's fairly old, right? But he's got some. He's not even like a journeyman, like record wise, like 17-4. He's fought an M1. The guy's pretty good. He's coming off that last fight. I forget who he fought last time, but the guy's good. But I just don't see him fighting with a guy like Danny Ige when you're getting hurt by David Onama and Austin Lingo. And like I get those fights were bangers and stuff, but you can't really be having bangers with lower tier fighters and then expect to beat a ranked guy like Dan Ige. And I know Dan Ige hasn't had it great as of recently, but come on, I think he's a little bit higher of a thing than Nate Landwehr, but I think it's that kind of that hype around Nate Landwehr because you know what, he's been doing great recently, so it's like why would you bet against Nate Landwehr at this point in time, because he's been doing so good right now. So it doesn't seem like much of a thing to bet against Nate Landwehr at this moment in time. But yeah, I think you got to go Dan Ige right here. Extreme Couture, man, I'm telling you, that gym's crazy. And that Damon Jackson KO, I'm trying to remember. I was watching that fight. That was on what fight night was that? 114. That would have been on the Imavov Sean Strickland fight card, I think. Let's see. Yeah, that's Imavov versus Strickland. That was co-main event. Yeah, I was watching. I don't remember that though for some reason. I'm sure it was all good. I'm sure it was something nice. I mean, I don't know how I don't remember that, but it was just in January. January is a forgettable month in the UFC. But yeah, man, you gotta go Dan Ige. Lost to Movsar Evloev, UD, Josh Emmett, UD, Chan Sung Jung, UD. And Josh Emmett, that fight was a little iffy. Come on now. And Calvin Kattar, Julio Arce, that was back UFC 220. Arce was better back then, but he doesn't really have that many bad losses if you're Dan Ige. He's got a lot of good losses. Like if you've had to lose, these aren't bad names to lose to at all. And Nate Landwehr, man, he's just been in some firefights. 17-4. Just patrolling at MMA Masters. He trains at MMA Masters. I did not know that. But that man's over there with Colby Covington. Yeah, Austin Lingo. I think Alex Consakers would have beat him, but whatever. Ludovic Klein. Yeah, he's on a 3-fight winning streak. Lost to Julian Erosa by flying knee. And Herbert Burns, the knee from the clinch. Yeah, man. It ain't looking good. It ain't looking good, Nate Landwehr. Gotta say. Hopefully the train keeps rolling Saturday night, but I don't know. I don't really see how that happens. I just don't see how Nate Landwehr gets past Dan Ige. Mike Malad versus Adam Fugit, man. Is this the main card now? Oh, I think this is the main card. Yeah, Nate Landwehr's on the main card. Okay, that makes more sense. I'm trying to think, it's a 5-fight main card. Okay, then the main card's alright. But like a stacked fight card would have Dan Ige and Nate Landwehr on the prelims. Let's be real here. They really should have thrown Nasruddin Imavov. Yeah, okay, they got Chris Curtis versus Nasruddin Imavov as the featured prelim, so there's the reason for that. They're trying to get a banging fight going. It makes sense though. Mike Malad versus Adam Fugit. Dude, I don't even know. I don't even know about that one, man. What can you say about that one? It's just a bit of a dead fight on the main card, isn't it? What I'm most excited for, though, I think everybody is. Again, it's not a casual take, or it's not even like a hardcore take, being like, oh, this fight's the best on the card. It's not some obscure fight. It's Charles Oliveira versus Beneil Dariush. That's the best fight on the card. Everybody knows it. It's just by far the most interesting, man, with the most ramifications. Because, you know what? Amanda Nunes, if she goes out there and loses, probably going to get a rematch. You know what? It's not career over, even if she does lose. There'll probably be a rematch anyways. But for Charles Oliveira and Beneil Dariush, especially Beneil and Charles has already had a shot at that title. He just lost it to Islam. And if he wants to get right back in there, you've got to beat Beneil. And for Beneil, you've been on such a big winning streak, you can't let it go to waste with a loss to Charles. You know what I mean? So, big ramifications for both fighters. And you know what? Charles Oliveira, man, that streak he was on before Islam Makhachev was just insane. I mean, it was just one of the most insane streaks we've ever seen. Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier, Michael Chandler, Tony Ferguson, Kevin Lee, that was in Brazil. Jared Gordon, which, you know, aged a little bit better after Paddy the Baddy lost to him. Jim Miller, Nick Lentz, David Timur, Clay Guida, Paul Felder, a loss, but still, this is back when he was dropping fights. Paul Felder, Ricardo Lamos, Anthony Pettis. He beat Miles Jury, Max Holloway, Nick Lentz again, Jeremy Stevens, Frankie Edgar, Cub Swanson, Donald Cowboy Cerrone, Nick Lentz a third time, Jim Miller again, Darren Elkins. Man, that is one of the most crazy resumes, honestly, I've seen in a while. That's just pretty nuts, in my opinion. You got to give it to Charles, man. That man has quite the resume. Live on TikTok? What do you mean? No, not live on TikTok. I can't go live on TikTok. I don't got 1,000 followers. You gotta have 1,000 followers to have go live on TikTok. So at some point we'll go live on TikTok, man. But yeah, Beneil, man, that last fight with Mateusz Gamrot, man, it was just a great display of what Beneil's just so good at, man. Beneil's just well-rounded. Honestly, his striking, nothing is special about Beneil in a way. Like, you look at Beneil and it's like, man, you know what? This dude's not flashy. He doesn't have anything. He's not like a great striker. He's not a great, like, he doesn't appear to be a great jiu-jitsu guy or a great grappler, but he just is. Everybody who knows Beneil is. He's really like that, especially on the ground, man. He's insane. But he's well-rounded, man. I see a lot of people saying he's going to chin Charles Oliveira. I think that's the common take. Let me check the betting line, too, here. Yeah, Charles is the underdog. Charles Oliveira is the underdog against Beneil Dariush. Which, I don't know, call me crazy, but I see Charles doing something. I just do, man. I don't know why, but I see Charles Oliveira doing something special and getting it done, man. I just see something. You'll have to wait for my prediction to see exactly what I'm thinking, but I don't know. I just see something happening with Beneil, and I see something going right for Charles Oliveira, which is so sad, man, because I love Beneil Dariush, man. He's one of my favorite fighters. Both these guys are some of my favorite fighters, so in a way it's going to pain me for somebody to lose, but then in a way I'll be so excited for whoever wins this fight because, you know, both these guys deserve it, man. I like Charles and I like Beneil. I almost feel more bad. I know when Charles loses, I will feel bad for Charles if he does lose, but I feel like right now I'm feeling bad for Beneil because, man, he hasn't gotten that crack at that title yet. You know what I mean? He hasn't gotten that recognition like everybody else has, even though he's been on an insane win streak. Let me just read off this win streak for you. Mateusz Gamrot, Tony Ferguson, Diego Ferreira, Scott Holtzman, Jakar Close, Frank Camacho, Drew Dober, and Thiago Moises. And then before that, he lost to Alexander Hernandez, drew with Evan Donham, Lost to Edson Barboza by flying knee. Beat Rashid Magomedov. Beat James Vick. Lost to Michael Chiesa. Beat Michael Johnson. Beat Jim Miller. Beat Diego Ferreira. Crazy resume, man. Beneil Dariush was fighting all the way back on UFC Fight Night 35. He made his UFC debut in 2014. He was on Aldo versus Mendez too. Like, the guy has been around forever. You know what I mean? He's just consistently been around, consistently been in the game. And I feel like some people think Beneil's some new guy in the UFC. He's got 21 fights in the or not 21. Or maybe he does have 21. Wait a second, let's see. Yeah, Beneil has 21 fights in the UFC, man. That is crazy. And the guy's 34, 35, I think, maybe. That is just an insane length of time to be in the UFC. 21 fights, man. You rarely see guys that get to 21 fights in the UFC unless they're, a champion at some point or something. That is crazy. That is just a crazy resume and a crazy statistic there. He's lucky he got in the UFC fairly early. Same thing with Charles Oliveira. That's when he dropped a lot of his fights, actually. It was just, early on in the career. But, yeah, both these guys have learned on the job and have done a lot better as of recently. And, man, I'm just so hyped for this. It's so high level. It's just as high level as you could imagine. Like, it just is that exactly. It's just as high level as you can imagine. It's the fight everybody's looking forward to. It's just crazy, man. I mean, it's going to be a massive fight. A lot of people are down on UFC 289, but, man, that's the only thing holding this fight card together as a pay-per-view. And really, I don't see the way that they would charge for this. It's pretty much, to me, it's like, oh, we got Charles Oliveira versus Sean O'Malley versus Aljamain Sterling. You want my prediction on that? Is that what you're asking? Is that what you're asking here, Jimmy Mocker? Because I'll do that before I get to Amanda Nunes versus Irene Aldana. If I even really need to touch on this fight, I'm going Amanda Nunes, everybody. I don't know. Sean O'Malley versus Aljamain Sterling. It's got me in a weird spot, man. Because I feel Aljamain Sterling is by far the better fighter. And I feel like Aljo's been disrespected. And I feel like Sean O'Malley's been fast-tracked to a title. Every single guy the only win that Sean O'Malley has in the UFC is Peter Yan. And that was not a very decisive win. Every other fighter that Sean O'Malley's fought, Julian Paiva, Chris Moutinho, they're all out the UFC now. The only guy that is there is Peter Yan, and that was a very controversial win. And the thing is, it's like everybody, I don't know, it's like, I feel like he doesn't deserve the title shot. Like, he just beat Peter Yan, who at that time wasn't even, I don't even think the #1 contender. And then Sean O'Malley just jumps all the way up and sits out for a year and gets a title shot. That's crazy. But in a way, I feel like he's a bad matchup for Aljamain Sterling. Because I feel like he's one of the best strikers in the UFC. I feel like his striking is just amazing. And I don't doubt that Sean O'Malley can knock out Aljamain Sterling. That's a fight I could really see happening. I could really see a knockout while Aljo is shooting in on a takedown. I could see a flying knee. I could see Sean O'Malley just hitting him with a clean left hand, stepping back out of range, and then just cracking him. I could see it, man. I really could see it. That's something I do see happening, which is a shame in a way, because I kind of like Aljamain Sterling, but Sean knocked you out on UFC. Okay, buddy. Okay. Sure thing. Be doing UFC 4 wagers, everybody. Be knocking everybody out. Let's see here. Yeah. This fight card, UFC 289 minutes, it's hype. It's hype because Charles Oliveira versus Beneil Dariush. Other than that, man, it's like, you really don't gotta watch it other than that. Again, there's a few fights: Nate Landwehr versus Dan Ige, and Chris Curtis versus Nasruddin Imavov. That's pretty much it. But other than those fight cards, I mean, other than Chris Curtis, Nasruddin Umayyad, other than Nate Landwehr versus Dan Ige, other than Charles Oliveira versus Justin Gaethje, and other than Amanda Nunes versus Irene Aldana, there's not too much to be looking forward to this weekend. I mean, it's just a mediocre card, mediocre pay-per-view, low tier pay-per-view actually. If I had to rate a pay-per-view, you know what I mean? And I don't think it's worth $80. That's the other thing. You know what I mean? UFC is so expensive, man. Like, I don't know. I just don't get the pay-per-view buying $80 every month, and then you can skip out on these cards, man. Yeah, it really does seem like a fight night, to be honest. Like, this would be a banging fight night card if you made this thing free. If you made this fight card free, it would be great. I feel like this fight card does, like, I don't know if it breaks 100,000. I just don't. I don't know who is buying an Amanda Nunes pay-per-view in 2023. I just really don't know who's doing that. I think there's going to be so many illegal streamers come Saturday. It's insane. I really just don't see it. I don't see who's buying this pay-per-view. That just is crazy to me. MMA Joey is in the chat, man. It's amazing to see MMA Joey. And French fries, man. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the chat. UFC 289 chat. Getting ready for UFC 289, man. I'm hyped, man. I'm hyped. John O, what's happening? What is going on, John O, man? How are you doing, everybody? Man, I'm just excited. Getting ready for UFC 289. And my graduation happening this weekend. So, might miss the early fights on the card. But hopefully not. Hopefully not. Hopefully we'll be able to get back in time and sit down and get ready to watch some UFC. Because it's a decent fight card, man. It's not a good fight card. Wish it was free. I think it's doing under 100,000 pay-per-view buys. Brendan, what is up, Brendan? How's it going, man? Welcome to the chat. We're just discussing some UFC 289 news, man. What's going on in the world with UFC 289? And also, I think I just realized the Ultimate Fighter's on right now with Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler, but who are you picking? Oliveira versus Dariush? Oh yeah, that's a good question, MMA Joy, because I saw your video breakdown on it. You're picking Oliveira, but you know what? Everybody seems to be picking Dariush. That seems to be the popular pick here. I'm going Oliveira here, though. I think Oliveira hurts him. I don't like Beneil Dariush versus. I'm getting better viewers than Tough. I saw that first episode was a flop. That's just what the streets are saying on Instagram. That's what I heard. But, back to the Oliveira thing. I see Oliveira just hurting him and putting him down. I just don't like Beneil Dariush's striking. I don't know how everybody is convinced all of a sudden that Beneil Dariush is this amazing striker. I don't see it. I don't see it, man. Look, Beneil's good, and I think Beneil's a top guy that beats a lot of guys. I just don't think he beats Charles Oliveira. I think Charles has the jiu-jitsu to stop Beneil Dariush's jiu-jitsu. I mean, if you're looking at that rankings, at the lightweight rankings, Beneil takes out a lot of those guys. But Charles is just, I don't know. Everybody after that Islam loss is thinking that Charles is some bum all of a sudden, man. Like Charles has not been getting dropped in his fights as of recently anyways. Acting like Charles has been, like, I know he got hurt in all those fights. He got hurt in the Dustin Poirier fight, nearly finished in the Michael Chandler fight, hurt in the Justin Gaethje fight, hurt in the Dustin Poirier fight, hurt in all those fights, but he came back. I see him, the only guy that finished him was Islam Makhachev. I think Islam's better than people are acting like. People are acting like if you lose to Islam, you're some bum, man. Dropping my full breakdown shortly. Dariush striking, for sure. That's what I'm saying. I don't see it. I don't know where Beneil Dariush has gotten into everybody's head thinking that this man is some amazing striker all of a sudden. I just don't see it. I think Beneil's gonna get fraud checked in a way. Like he's not bad. He's not bad by any means, but I just don't think he's the GOAT that everybody's talking like he is. And I don't think he's the guy to beat Islam either. He's a bad matchup for Islam, but I don't know. I don't see him beating Islam. I think Islam's striking is far superior to Beneil Dariush. I don't know why everybody's. I mean, am I crazy to say Islam Makhachev outstrikes Beneil Dariush? Am I crazy to say that? Islam has underrated striking in every sense of the imagination, man. Like Islam, in a way, pieces up a lot of guys. Pieced up Volkanovski on the feet. Pieced up Charles Oliveira on the feet. Islam is a good striker, man. When are we getting the MMA Joey x John Mundy collab? Man, it's not gonna happen. MMA Joey's the GOAT, but that man's focused on himself right now, man. And he's doing his thing. Guys, MMA Joey, he has some of the best takes on the planet, man, I gotta say. That man be providing MMA takes for the community out here. So, yeah. And that man was boosting on my sub count like crazy. So, giving credit to MMA Joey. The funny thing is about that, I got more subscribers in that time in a live stream, the MMA Joey shouted me out, than I had this year in 2023. So, gotta say thank you to MMA Joey. I would favor Islam on the feet. See, I would too. I don't see where Beneil's getting all the love from, but it's good to see the chat is thinking that Islam gets it done, man. Islam has way underrated striking, man. He just does. People think because the Dagestanis are wrestlers, they can't strike. They have weirdly good striking, but a lot of people leave that out of their game, man. I think even Volkanovski admitted he underrated Islam striking. There's been a push to underrate some of the Dagestanis as of late, and I don't know why it is. Like, look, you don't have to be like, oh, Khabib's the GOAT, but you can admit that Khabib's a great fighter. Khabib's had an amazing time and had a great career. Without it saying, oh, Khabib's better than John Jones, like, I don't know. It's just a weird circumstances, man. Like, Islam, man, right? You got bad stylistic matchups for Islam in the top 15, but he's already beaten Charles Oliveira. It's safe to say he probably beats Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaethje, guys that lost to Khabib in, you know, that Dagestani grappling way. Beneil would be a tough matchup for Islam because of, again, the jiu-jitsu pedigree and the wrestling of Beneil, but I still would favor Islam on that because I think that on the feet, Islam pieces Beneil up, man. And I think he finishes him. I think Islam Makhachev finishes Beneil Dariush on the feet. Early prediction if that fight does end up happening. If Beneil gets past Charles Oliveira this weekend. And looking at Michael Chandler, like Michael Chandler would have good wrestling defense and would have good striking to keep up with Islam, but in a way I just feel like he would gas out and probably would just not have the best striking or IQ to fight Islam. I just don't know. Rafael Fiziev, that would be a good fight. I would favor. Oh wait, I already read that. If you could make a card with the current state of the UFC, what would it look like? And if I could make a card, it would be stacked. It would be crazy. I'd be putting Alex Pereira on it, but you know, I have to see who's booked out and everything. Imagine Dariush blows a knee and then Charles waits for the BMF winner. Then I could see it. I could see something like that happening. If our stuff doesn't get answered, it'll be so annoying, man. We just want answers, man. That's the big part about why we watch the UFC. Like, as much as we're watching it for the fights, it's almost more again for the matchup. Like, who wins this matchup? And then once we do that, it's like, oh well, we know who wins. It's very statistical in that sense. Like, we're just going by all this, then this, and we keep going. Not just for the fights. Like, we just want to see what happens. Like, who actually wins this? Dariush by KO, round 2, Saturday. I could see it, but is he just? I don't know. Are we like basing this off the fact that he heard your car close? Nobody forget John is 6'3". I don't think I'm 6'3". MMA Joey. I think I'm 6 foot. I think I'm about 6 foot. Maybe 6'1" at the max. With Nike Air Max on for sure. Back to the Islam Makhachev matchups. If we're doing everything, everybody in the top 15 for Islam Makhachev, he beats Rafael Fiziev after what we saw with the fight with Justin Gaethje. Not impressed by Rafael Fiziev in that fight. Although he did put up a close fight. Some people underrate Fiziev after that fight. But yeah, I don't think he's ready for Islam at this point. And then Arman Sarukian, we already saw that fight, but again, it'd be better, especially now that Arman's better. But I also think, you got to say Islam's by far better than when they first fought. I'm not picking anyone against Islam yet. See, that's the good take. But the good takes are back from MMA Joey. See, it's just like I don't see how you pick anybody against Islam yet. Islam hasn't shown anything that to me that gets him beat by anybody. I agree, man. Yeah, Dariush. I don't know. Dariush is weird, man. I don't know. I don't know how to describe his style. It just is weird. It's a weird style. He's just not. I don't feel like he's particularly good, man. He just does not look good. And then you get into the Matt Frivolas of the world, which, I think Islam barely cleans up those guys. But yeah, I'm just not impressed by Beneil. I've went back and watched a lot of Beneil's fights here. I really have. I've been trying to study the top fights on this card because, I can't get into some of these fights on the card like Eric Anders, man. I can't get into an Eric Anders fight. I don't know why, especially on the main card, man. It's just not for me. But the guys like Beneil Dariush and Charles Oliveira, I have been looking into some of these fights and I have been watching their past fights, and I haven't done totally all my research on it. Like I need to go back and watch all the fights on UFC Fight Pass. But like Beneil, I watched this fight against Tony Ferguson, and it shows he can be dominant on the ground. But is he going to be dominant on the ground against Charles? I just don't think so. And people are acting like Beneil is an invincible jiu-jitsu guy when he has gotten submitted in the past. Like I get that was a long time ago at this point, but you have to factor that in. Like the guy is not like invincible. He's never not been tapped out. I don't know why we're acting like that. Yeah, man. I don't get it. Again, I think the last fight against Mateusz Gamrot was impressive, especially to do that to Mateusz Gamrot, who a lot of people think is future title contender. It's very good, but before that he beat Tony Ferguson in a good fight. I'm saying he dominated the fight, but it a washed up Tony Ferguson at that point. I don't think that was a prime Tony Ferguson we saw. Diego Ferreira, come on now. Drakkar Klose, Scott Holtzman, that was the spinning back fist. And Drew Dober, that wins aged well, but Drew just got finished by. Drew's been finished by a lot of people. Benny looked great in his last fight. Yeah, he did. I think that's why a lot of people, if you're comparing the fights from Beneil Dariush and Charles Oliveira's last fight, it's not a good look, right? Because Charles got absolutely dominated by Islam. But again, he's fighting Islam Makhachev, whereas Mateusz Gamrot is fighting Beneil Dariush, which, Mateusz Gamrot's good, but we've seen guys, even like Jalen Turner had his moments against Mateusz Gamrot in their fight. It's going to be a hard fight for Charles. I think so. I think Charles has a tough fight, but I also think Beneil has a tough fight as well. It's going to be that's what makes this fight so good. It's a 50-50 fight, in my opinion. And it's just one of those fights that you just look forward to, man. It's just like the last fight that Charles was in. Everybody wanted to see him versus Islam Makhachev. It was the fight that everybody wanted to see. And now this is the fight everybody wants to see, is Beneil Dariush versus Charles Oliveira. And it's an amazing fight. That's for that reason. For that very reason. It's like, man, who is going to win? Like, everybody wants to find out and know. But we just don't know yet, man. But soon to be, man. Soon to be. Is anybody interested in the Amanda Nunes fight? Amanda Nunes versus Irene Aldana? Is that the reason anybody here is buying the pay-per-view card? Because, I don't know. I think everybody's watching for Charles versus Beneil, in my opinion. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's a lot of Amanda Nunes fans out there. We're missing out on Juliana Pena versus Amanda Nunes 3, man. The best trilogy in the game. No. It's okay. It's okay. We need Juliana Pena to come back and get an immediate title fight against Amanda Nunes. The trilogy. She only got 50-43 in her last fight against Amanda. But yeah, man. After this fight, after after UFC 289, man, I'm looking forward. I'm looking into the future because we've already got other fight. Of course, we got other fights booked, but we already got some pretty good fights that were announced by Dana White that are already coming up, man. Pena has better striking than Alex Pereira. Dude, she might just. Juliana Pena, underrated, man. Underrated. She didn't win that fight because she was fighting Southpaw. Okay. I'm sorry. We're not even gonna joke about that, man. Not even gonna joke about that. Pena, yeah, she got beat up, man. She got beat up badly, but it's okay. Because next time she's gonna know Amanda Nunes is coming out in Southpaw, and she's gonna make an adjustment. She needs a whole training camp for a switch stance fighter. That's what she needs. Little did everybody know, and she's gonna come out there and finish Amanda Nunes this time, just like the last time, but this time by KO because her striking is just gonna be so much better. And man, Marvin Vettori versus Jared Cannonier is next Saturday too. Already looking forward to that one, man. Already looking forward to that one. And, it's a good fight. It's a good fight. I think I'm leaning Vettori. I don't know why. I just feel like he's going to hurt Jared at some point. Actually, I don't feel like he's going to hurt Jared. What am I saying? I feel like Marvin's just going to fight to a decision. And Jared is going to hit him with a head kick. And Marvin's going to be fine. That's my prediction for that fight. Early prediction. A little, not much into that prediction, but just touching on the surface of that one. Arman Tsarukyan versus Joaquim Silva. That's a great co-main event. I wish Arman had to fight somebody higher up in the rankings, though. Because everybody knows how good Arman Tsarukyan is, man. Nicholas Dalby versus Muslim Salikov. That's a decent fight. Jimmy the Brick Flick, man. Everybody's missing out on the Brick, man. He's back. Look, Jimmy the Brick Flick, man. Underrated. No. Let's see. Jagalas Jumagulov. Oh my gosh. I haven't even looked at a lot of these fight cards. Jagalas Jumagulov, guys, makes his return on June 17th. Mark your calendars. Jagalas Jumagulov is back in the mix. Next flyweight contender. Who knows? Who knows? Felipe Burns stands in his way. Yeah, it's a decent fight night card. You going to do any more live streams? Yeah. I think I will start doing more live streams, to be honest. Because, you know what? If we have an engaged chat, and not even just an engaged chat, I just find doing a live stream fun and fairly easy. Still send it up on my phone, but you know what? At some point, it's gonna be better. It's gonna be better. Don't worry. But yeah, gonna do some more live streams, man. Get better at it. Used to live stream Call of Duty back in the day, so gonna get better at it. Gonna get better at it for sure. And then Josh Emmett versus Ilya Topuria. That's a fight night with a crowd. Decent fight night card. Actually, I don't think the fight night card's that good. I just think the main event's alright. Main event's alright. And then Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland's fight night card. Let's see here. And then Volkanovski versus... Man, there's like so many fight nights. Or not fight nights, but just fights coming up, man. Every week. Dude, Holly Holm. When did that get announced? Dude, when did Holly Holm versus Myra Bueno Silva? When did this fight get announced? Hold on a second. Myra Bueno Silva versus Holly Holm. Oh no. Dude, when did this fight get announced? How was I not in the loop? Oh no, dude. This is an atrocity. What is going on? They better add something more to that, dude. There's 4 fights on the card? 5 fights? 6 fights. Yeah, they gotta add some more stuff to that, but man, Estela Nunes better not be co-main event on that fight night. That's atrocious. I didn't even realize that. I did not even realize that, man. Tom Aspinall versus Marcin Tybura. Decent fight. Poirier versus Justin Gaethje 2. Guys, I'll be at the beach that week. You'll be getting my beach predictions. Don't worry. I'll still be there. Maybe we'll do a little beach live stream while we're there. Vicente Luque versus Rafael dos Anjos. Decent fight. How far out do they have fights booked? Oh, just O'Malley versus Sterling. And they just confirmed UFC for Paris, France today, I think. So that'll be a fight night in September the 2nd. Will we see a Cyril Gane main event? Who knows? Who knows? Dude, I think, what if they do Sergey Pavlovich versus Cyril Gane? Main event of UFC Fight Night Paris. I could see it. But dude, if Cyril Gane wins that, the division's gonna be so dead, man. So dead. That would kill off the division, dude. I don't know if you do that fight, actually. I don't know if you do that fight at all. That seems like a very bad decision. Because if Cyril Gane wins, man, you don't rebook John Jones versus Cyril Gane too. Who knows? Who knows? You got UFC 293. Isn't that in Australia? I thought it was Melbourne, Australia, but who knows? Apparently there's not a definite location, but I guess it's Australia somewhere. And then obviously UFC 294 in Abu Dhabi, October 21st. Probably going to be a stacked card. Which maybe the winner this weekend fights for the title against Islam Makhachev in a fight on Abu Dhabi Fight Island. I could see it. I could see it happen. That 291 card is very, very, very exciting. By the way, Dustin Poirier versus Justin Gaethje 2 for the BMF title. Again, man, I don't want to sound like I'm following every single MMA Joey take here, but the BMF title, dude, that's so cringy, dude. That is just, that's max cringe right there. It'd be a cool fight if they didn't have that, dude. It really would. Jones beats Fury in the octagon just as fast as he beats Gane. Oh, no doubt in my mind, dude. I don't understand why that's even a question, dude. John Jones is the best fighter on the planet. Tyson Fury is the best boxer. There is a big difference. I don't understand how people even think that that's close. Oh, John Jones. Striking is different than boxing. Fighting is different than boxing. If you're on the street, the striking itself is not the same as boxing. Even if you just say, use your hands, it's not the same. Bare knuckle boxing is not the same as just regular boxing. People don't understand that, man. If you put your hands up with boxing gloves, you can pretty much block your entire face. You know, that you're not with, if you're using just hands with no gloves, you got to be slipping punches. You got to be shooting in on takedowns or something because you're going to get hit hard. And Tyson Fury just doesn't get hit that much, man. He's elusive. He's elusive. I don't even understand why that's a question, dude. If Tyson Fury fought John Jones, Tyson Fury, have you ever seen Tyson Fury's legs? Tyson Fury is getting his legs knocked out immediately, flopping onto the ground. John Jones is going to jump on him literally as fast as he wants because Tyson Fury is not going to get up very fast, let's just be honest. And then he's just going to choke him out. It's that simple. He's going to jump on him. He's going to grab his back and choke him up. How old are you? I'm 18. I just turned 18 just a little bit ago. Actually, not a little bit ago. About a half a year ago. Dude, I'm still living in January. 18 years of age. Man. Graduating this Saturday. It's going to be nice. It's going to be nice. Dude, Tyson Fury, man. I can't believe that is even being discussed. I really can't. That's a crazy thing to be discussed. Some people really think Tyson Fury wins. You must not watch any MMA if you think Tyson Fury wins that fight. That's just crazy to me. And Francis Ngannou would beat Tyson Fury in an MMA fight with ease. With ease, both of those guys would. I'm convinced anybody in the heavyweight division Derek Lewis would probably beat Tyson Fury in an MMA fight. I don't see it going well. I would think Tyson would need a lot of training to get better and to get good enough to step in the octagon. He was getting taken down by Darren Till in that one video. That does not bode well if you're trying to fight John Jones. It just doesn't. Jan Blachowicz versus Alex Pereira. That's an amazing fight, but man, I got Jan Blachowicz, man. I just do. I mean, I don't see how Alex Pereira wins that fight. Jan Blachowicz pretty much was very dominant over Israel Adesanya. I don't see how Alex Pereira beats Jan Blachowicz. Unless Alex Pereira goes out there and puts on a ton of muscle and is just giant. But I feel like he's going to keep pretty much the same body. And I feel like he's just going to go out there and, I don't know, his chin might be better, but I just feel like he's going to have that same body type. And I feel like this one we're going to see him get fraud checked in the wrestling department. Israel Adesanya didn't choose to take that path with him. Izzy said, I'm going to strike with him, but I feel like Jan Blachowicz is going to take him down. I know that thing that he said, he was like, oh, I'm going out there to test my striking. I don't think so. I think he's going to go out there and grapple with him. Going live myself, man, but good talking to you, man. It's good seeing you, MMA Joey. I'm going to have to get off the stream, dude, because I'm so thirsty right now. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. But thank you for stopping by, and thank you for getting some people in the chat, MMA Joey. Much love. Respect to you, man. Can't wait to see the live stream. I'll be watching it in just a little while because I gotta get off of here soon. But man, then we got Tony Ferguson versus Bobby Green. That's a good fight, man. I don't know how winnable that is for Tony Ferguson, but he is a major underdog in that fight. Literally minus 350 for Bobby Green, plus 290 for Tony Ferguson. Man, I would do nothing more. Hold on, what is it? You know, water. Dude, I do know why you're always chugging water. It's the most insane thing ever. I mean, my tongue, man, I can barely speak right now. I'm slurring my words out here, not because I'm that tired. It's just I can barely speak. Congrats on the graduation, bro. Thank you, man. Thank you. About to head on out of here. Head on out of high school. Dipping on out. I'm excited, but more excited for UFC 289. I'm just playing. Honestly, like, if this fight card was stacked, I might skip it, but I'm not gonna lose. I'm not gonna miss anything because this fight, it doesn't even start till, I think, 7 o'clock. Yeah, it doesn't even start till 7 o'clock because there's only 2 fights on the early prelims. So, you know what? I think I'm gonna be able to get back in time for that. So I'll be there watching the whole fight. May do a watch along, honestly, but who knows? We'll see. I want to start doing fight watch alongs, man, because I know a lot of people are doing it. MMA Joey does it. MMA Guru does it. I think Keon Kamara does it sometimes, but Lucas Tracy MMA, all those guys do it. So, you know what? It might be the play. It might just be the play. Running some. I don't know how many of you would watch that. Would watch a fight companion. I actually did a fight companion for a boxing match in the PFL on. I think it was a while ago now, a couple months back, on the Isaac Dogbe versus. I forget. Oh, dude, who did Isaac Dogbe fight in that boxing match in Tulsa, Oklahoma? I don't know. It was a couple months ago. But yeah, I've done some watch-alongs, and I want to do more. And I haven't done a UFC fight companion. I've done a boxing fight companion. On a boxing match, I barely knew much about. So, you know what? It'd be more interesting to go with UFC because I know boxing, but like I know UFC. UFC is what I spend all my time on, and that's how I'm actually able. I could not get on a live stream and talk about boxing. I just couldn't do it. I'd probably run out of things to say in like 10 minutes because it's just I just don't know too much about it. Like I know the superstars, but once you get off the champions, once you get off those guys, I'm gonna be lost. You know what I mean? But MMA, I can talk about contenders all day. And it's what I do, man. It's what I do. Drive my family nuts talking about UFC. So, let's see. Yeah, it was the Robeisy Ramirez versus Isaac Dogboe fight. That's what I watched for the WBO title. I think that was a lightweight fight. I don't know. That fight that did 226 views, man, in the moment. That was a big fight. That was a good time for me, actually. And I did a live post fight on Lomachenko versus Devin Haney. But again, those are only like big time boxing matches that I've done that for. Robeisy Ramirez versus Isaac Dogboe is not a big time boxing match, but like, I don't know. He's still a world champion, and I feel like I could talk about that. Plus, I didn't just talk about it. You know what I mean? Like, I can't like talk about contenders. Like, I was watching a fight. I can commentate on a fight. See ya, Jacob. Thank you for stopping by, man. Good to have you. Good to have you here. Asking some questions and stuff. Man, I appreciate all the chat, man. I really do. It means a lot, man. I can't believe people are listening to me talk MMA, man. This is actual play right here. This is what I like to do, man. So it's good to have people talking, stopping by. And I like making YouTube videos, but I do like interacting with the chat more so because, I don't know, it's just more fun. It's just more fun to see what people are saying in the moment, and I can respond like in person as I would if I was just having a conversation about MMA and UFC. So that's pretty much what I like to do. But yeah, in the PFL, I don't remember. That was the Thiago Santos versus. Oh my gosh, who was that? What is his name? He trains with Anthony Smith. He just tested positive for steroids. Rob Wilkinson. He lost Israel Adesanya in Izzy's debut. I think it was. Yeah, it was Izzy's debut. But I did that one. And Rob Wilkinson has tested positive for steroids. Thiago Santos has tested positive for steroids. I don't know what's going on with the PFL light heavyweight division. I don't know what's going on with that division. But yeah, it's just not looking good. And that was also Marlon Moraes versus Brendan Laughlin. That, like, nobody was watching that fight, but like, I was there, man. I was there. So, you know what? We move on. I actually enjoyed it. Like, no, I didn't enjoy seeing Marlon Moraes get done dirty like that with the leg kicks, but you know what? It's all right. Because Marlon Moraes, man, like, it's sad to see what happened to Marlon Moraes. Let's just be honest. It's just sad to see. A one-time great fighter. One time, I thought that man was gonna go places. He fought for a UFC title, man. He was already at places, but you know what I mean. And you know, we got a UFC fight in Jacksonville coming up. That night also is Cedric Doumbé versus, I don't know who he's fighting, but it's Cedric Doumbé's PFL debut. And like, that'll be an interesting fight to just see how Cedric Doumbé does. And be like, man, should the UFC have picked up Cedric Doumbé? Because if he goes out there and, you know, I know it's a probably favorable matchup for him, but if he goes out there and looks impressive, you know, everybody's going to be saying, man, we should have picked him up. Because UFC really did miss out with Cedric Doumbé. I'm going to be honest. The guy's older, and he's not going to be that big of a star amongst casual fans, especially being in the PFL. Like, not that many people are going to really be paying attention to Cedric Doumbé. But I am, you know, I don't know. I don't think the PFL can build a star like the UFC can, just because of the fact that to the PFL. I think if you stick Cedric Doumbé in the UFC, put all his credentials out that he was a Glory Kickboxing champion, show how good he was in the PFL, and I think he does big time numbers in the UFC. But you know what? I just don't think that PFL has the same draw. I don't think, even merit based, I just don't think people are that excited about PFL. Even if their fighters are more merit based than like a bottom level UFC fighter, I just think that since it's a PFL fighter, there everybody's like, Paulo Costa versus Ikram Aliskerov, sorry. Ikram, he fought Phil Halls in his last fight, and I was so confused when this fight got announced because he's getting now a shot at Paulo Costa, and I think that was maybe his UFC debut, or if not, it was his second fight in the UFC, and that fight got booked so fast after UFC 288, it was absolutely insane. So to have Ikram Aliskerov already in a middleweight, you know, top 5 fight is pretty crazy. But you know what? We're already looking ahead to July 29th, man. that night is also Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence. So gonna have two TVs on at that time, but let's just be real. I'm not paying for US for Spence versus Crawford. I'm gonna just say it because putting on the record now, 60 minutes into this live stream, Terrence Crawford is going to unanimous decision over Errol Spence. It's gonna be like 100. I'm thinking 118 to like 112. It's gonna be bad, man. He's only gonna lose like 2 or 3 rounds. Mark my words, man. Clip it now. He's gonna put on a performance on Errol Spence that night. You boys just wait. But yeah, and also this is a difference between the UFC and a fight like Bud Crawford versus Spence. That fight is so anticipated, right? But the UFC is just anticipated in itself because it's got Dustin Poirier versus Justin Gaethje. Those guys aren't undefeated fighters. Dustin Poirier lost 2 fights ago. Justin Gaethje lost 2 fights ago. Both these guys lost a couple of fights ago. Jan Blachowicz versus Alex Pereira. But look at the card itself, the co-main event, Alex Pereira versus Jan Blachowicz. Keep going down. Paulo Costa versus Ikram Aleksandrov. Bobby Green versus Tony Ferguson. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Michelle Pereira. Derek Lewis versus Marcos Rogerio de Lima. Michael Chiesa versus Kevin Holland. Matthew Smellsberger versus Johan Lietz. It's getting rough as we get to the bottom. Roman Kopylov versus Claudio Ribeiro. CJ Vergara versus, Venicus Salvador. Trevin Giles versus Gabriel Bonfim. That's a good fight. The Bonfim brothers are back. Joanne Wood versus Priscilla Cahuera. But that fight is just a stacked card. And I don't think it's because I'm just more of a UFC fan. I think if you even ask boxing fans, that a lot of their fights aren't that stacked. Like, some people will watch undercards on boxing matches. That's just the truth of the matter. Some people will watch the undercards on boxing matches, but, and they will normally try and stack a boxing match like this one with a decently stacked undercard. But they'll put, like, Muhammad Ali's grandson on it. They'll put maybe Xander Zayas on it. They'll put some decent guys on there. But in total, it's just going to be a bit, like, nobody's watching because it's a stacked card in boxing. People are watching boxing because it's a amazing fight like Spence versus Crawford. That's just the only reason the people are watching boxing matches. We've been going for an hour here. We'll keep it going a little bit longer, man. Keep it going a little bit. I just enjoy, man. I enjoy actually the just able to talk. I know a lot of my videos aren't really heavily edited, but just talking live with you guys is just interesting, man. It just is. Being able to just say my piece and explain it, it's just interesting. Let's see. If MMA Joe is live, I might end the stream. No, yeah. MMA Joe is live. We might be ending the stream here in a second. And yeah, he's talking about the tough viewership, man. I don't know what's going on with the Ultimate Fighter, by the way. I really don't. We're hearing that Conor McGregor's going to pull crazy numbers. Crazy numbers are going to be pulled with Conor McGregor, and then it turns out it's like 200,000. That's not good. That's not good. I don't know. Tough. That first episode was like, and it's probably not because it's like I don't enjoy Tough too much. I enjoy some seasons. I enjoyed TJ Dillashaw versus Cody Garbrandt season. I enjoy some of those seasons, and the first time Conor was on it was interesting. I actually liked the back and forth with Uriah Faber, but I think Conor McGregor's lost a little bit of his mojo in terms of talking, in terms of chatting, in terms of his comebacks, in terms of everything. He's not as witty as he used to be. It's no knock on McGregor. It's just, again, you saw it even in the UFC 264 press conference with Dustin Poirier when he was like, when Dustin was like, you're better than that, man, because Conor was just saying Jolie's wife. Like, bro, that's not funny, dude. It's just not funny, and it's not anything like Conor was used to back in the day. It's just not. So I don't know what's been going on with Connor and his talking, because his trash talking is just severely decreased. I don't know what it is. You know, you had that beef with True Jordy. Some people saying that Connor's on the booger sugar, which, you know, could be. I think a lot of people think that. Not gonna accuse the man of it, but you know, a likelihood is probably true. But you know what? Connor does what he wants, man. But you know, if that affects his talking and his speech patterns, then it does. Because I don't know, it's just not that. It's just not. He doesn't sound like he always has, man. He just doesn't. If you think Conor McGregor sounds nearly as witty as he did back in the past, like if you think that line they put against Chandler, which was probably edited by the way, where he was like, "You'll do what you're told," like bro, that line is nothing compared to what OG Conor McGregor could say. OG Conor McGregor was tearing up everybody on the mic, genuinely making people laugh, not like forced laughter because Conor, but because of the wittiness that Conor used to have, man. He was just so much better back in the day. I don't know what happened to him. Not even his fighting. Like people will say his fighting diminished. His trash talking diminished, dude. His trash talking severely diminished. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because he started losing fights and he got self conscious and he just, you know, his maybe it's because he's not on top. So when he says something that's dumb, it just doesn't hit the same. Because like when you know you're talking, you can beat everybody up while you're winning. It's like, oh, that's one thing because you're winning. Everybody, it makes sense. But when you're kind of just a B tier fighter, man, it's just doesn't make sense that you're talking smack to people, guys that would beat you. I don't know. Just to me, it's just weird. But yeah, I haven't seen episode 2 yet because I started this live stream at like 10 o'clock. As soon as the Ultimate Fighter was coming on, which I totally forgot was on Tuesday nights. I absolutely forgot that those were on Tuesday nights, but yeah. Once I hop off this live stream, I'll go watch it. But yeah, the viewership's not supposed to be great, so man, we'll have to see. Yeah, man. Once we get an active chat up in here, it's gonna be crazy. That might be at a later date, though. It might not be tonight because, you know what we're doing right now. If you're watching this, by the way, anybody is we're just building up an audience on everything, on every platform. Like on TikTok, I've got a lot of people following me on TikTok, trying to get those people to come over here to the YouTube page. And obviously, I'm trying to get 1,000 followers on TikTok because I'm trying to live stream on there as well. But you know, I'm gonna be doing fight companions on here. This is my main home base. YouTube has been my home base since I've been a kid. This has been what I've done is YouTube. And TikTok page is just the extra little content that I do because it's just like so easy, man, to just record on a phone, like just like this, with no editing. I just talk on there. So TikTok is just, you know, getting some viewership over. So thank you for anybody coming from TikTok. But yeah, I'm trying to build that up just so we can have some more people coming on in, and you know, hopefully, you know, if my TikTok gets like 1,000 followers, hopefully maybe 2 or 3 people will come on over to the live stream because it really does, you know, provide a good thing for the live stream if I have an active chat and an active viewership and an active fan base, not fan base, but just people that are watching and like to discuss MMA. Because you know what? This is what I do, man. I just talk MMA. And I want to do fight companions, man. And I think there's some regional fight coming down on Wednesday, which I might do a reaction to live. But we'll see. We'll see if it's stacked enough. I might do it, but normally I will not do, you know, regional stuff. I won't normally be live streaming the LFA or anything like that. But you know, if it's a stacked LFA fight, or I might just go live for just the championship LFA fight, just to improve it, see how you guys are feeling about it all. Because you know what, having some people watching is not a bad thing, man. We got some people watching this live stream, and it's been fun, man. It's been one of the best things I've done. So, you know what, I rate this a lot more than I rate some of my videos because I just enjoy talking with the people. Straight up, just enjoy this. A much more calm, chill environment where I just talk, man. I am thirsty, man. It is crazy. I should have grabbed a water. This is crazy. And by the way, guys, like if you're wondering about everything, this computer right here does not work. Okay, this computer is literally broken, and this Blue Yeti mic goes with that computer. And I was a high level streamer back in the day on Fortnite, man. But you see this right here, Logitech webcam and all right there. Everything was like working, but this PC doesn't work. So I don't live stream on the PC. I have my phone propped up on two Dr. Pepper cans and a glass bottle behind it, keeping it up from the back. Okay, so we're keeping this live stream going. And then I got a little laptop here that I've had since I was been like probably 10 years old. So you know what, the setup right now, it's very iffy. It's very iffy. But luckily this laptop works, or else I couldn't be reading chat. So you know, that's one positive. We're looking on the positive side here. So once I get some stuff worked out, once this computer gets worked out, once might not even get this computer worked out to be honest, but if I get, a newer laptop or something like that, because this computer, I got it in 2018, and it's a nice computer. It's a really nice computer actually. It's a heavy duty gaming computer right here. I played many of games of Fortnite and many games of all types of stuff on this computer, but I haven't been playing it because it's been broken. So we'll see. We'll see what I decide to do with it. We'll see if I decide to fix it, or if I decide to just move on and get maybe a MacBook or something. We'll have to see what I do, because you know what, I am going to college, so we'll have to see what I do, because I might just get a MacBook and use it for both, because knock out two stones, or knock out two birds with one stone right there. You know what I mean? And then just plug in the webcam to the MacBook or something like that. Something like that would work, I think. But I tried to go live earlier on this laptop, and it just was not having it. It was just not having it. It was so extremely slow. This laptop, I don't know what it is. I had to reset this laptop like about a week ago, and it's the only reason I'm able to stream and have been able to stream a little bit, because I've gotten this MacBook, or not MacBook, but it's an HP laptop, and I've gotten it working just a little bit, just enough to, check the time, check the chat a little bit, check the YouTube statistics. It's able to pull up UFC.com. It doesn't even really play YouTube videos that well, but you know what? It works. It works for what we're trying to do. So yeah, we'll think about upgrading at some point. But you know what? The world's mad expensive right now, and I know technology though is getting a little cheaper, man. What did you guys think of those Apple glasses, by the way? Speaking of technology, who is copping those $3,500 Apple glasses? Because I don't know if I'm paying car type of money for a headset. Also, everybody's acting like that's a new thing when MetaQuest has that as well. But whatever, not gonna be so crazy. I did think it was cool. It's kind of controlling it with your hands and stuff, I guess. But I don't know. Put me in there watching some UFC fights in cage side. Would you guys? Okay, here's a question. Here's a good question. Would you guys rather be watching the UFC cage side on a VR broadcast, or would you rather be watching it like a regular broadcast, but like sitting on your couch in like a theater type environment? Because I think I'm taking a regular broadcast, man. I like the regular broadcast. I went to a UFC fight in person, and it was great. But I have to say, I think it would be better if you're watching it on VR to watch it as the regular broadcast. I just do. Because sometimes things are hard to see in person, you know what I mean? Like, I was close. I was a lower level center watching it straight on. And even I had to, at some points, you have to look up just to see the screen. You have to look up at that big screen, see what's going on, because it's like, it's hard to tell what's going on. Sometimes the cameraman's blocking. You're like, what's going on? You gotta look over and see what's going on, because it's hard to see sometimes. Going 74 minutes, man. Again, thank you for everybody watching right now. It does mean a lot, and it does help the channel actually. And having 5 likes on the stream does help the stream a lot. And you know what? We've gotten 341 subscribers, man. There was a time, like, I don't want to sound like I've hit some big number, but there was a time I didn't think I could ever hit that. So I gotta say I'm grateful for sure. Because in the dark days of YouTube, like, those videos are still up on my channel, by the way. If you go back like 8-9 years ago, you can see when I had like 0 2, 3, 4, 5 subscribers, stuff like that. I did a 225 view special. I did a special video for having 225 total channel views. Yeah, man, it was different. It was different. Definitely a different time back then. But some of those videos have turned into shorts now. It's like, dude, what's going on? I know I'm getting off the UFC topic here, but it's just like, man, a lot of crazy stuff. UFC 291, it's a good card though. I hate to just bring that right back up, but I enjoy the UFC 291 card, and I will be doing beach predictions for that, so stay tuned. You'll be seeing me at the beach predicting those fights. I cannot wait for that one. That whole week is going to be crazy. Got a lot of stuff going on that week, but I'm going to try and keep you guys updated as much as possible because I'm going to the beach with my friends, and I'm going to try and do it like some type of vlog type thing where they're giving their predictions as well, because you know what? It's good to have other opinions on here. You know, you can listen to me, and I feel like that's the best thing to do. I think you're going to want to listen to me because, you know, they're MMA fans, but, you know, I don't know if they're MMA fans like I am. And so I think you're going to want to listen to my predictions on those predictions. I think some of my predictions will be shared with some of my friends on that night, though. I'm also looking forward to UFC London, man. Tom Aspinall versus Marcin Tybura. That's a good fight. You know, I think Marcin Tybura is not the greatest fight, but I'm excited to see Tom Aspinall back. And man, was that not fast? You know what I mean? Was that 2022? Was that 2022? Hold on a second, everybody. Did he break it? I think he broke his leg in that fight, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think that was just some tear or something. I think that was a leg break. I believe Tom Aspinall broke his leg in that fight. Let's see. Did Tom Aspinall break his leg? Okay, apparently he did fracture his leg in that fight. Tom Aspinall broke his leg in July of 2022 and is already back. Conor McGregor broke his leg in July of 2021. Doesn't even have a fight booked. Not to bring Conor McGregor back into it, man, but it's just like, I actually thought when Conor McGregor broke his leg that it was going to be like, oh, Conor's going to have this quick turnaround. Conor's going to come back. And it's going to be like a legendary thing, like Anderson Silva type stuff. Like, because he was like that. He was like, man, I'm hype. I'm ready to come back. And, you know, it turns out Conor's just more, let me just sit it out, man. Let me just, you know, take my time. Because I think Conor realizes, you know what, if he loses again, it's not going to be good for him. It's not. It might be over. We also got Josh Taylor versus Teofimo Lopez in 3 days, man. Oh, my gosh, I forgot about that. Oh, my gosh. That's what's tomorrow, I think. PFL 4. I think that's what I was talking about. Anyways, we'll see. I don't know. That might not be worth it. I'll have to see the fight card. But we got Teofimo Lopez versus Josh Taylor, which is going to be a great fight. That's a good fight. I like that dude. I like Teofimo Lopez. I want to see this PFL fight. I totally forgot that fight was this weekend in Atlanta. I don't know how PFL's doing their stadium, man, because it's at the Overtime Elite Arena in Atlanta, which is, you know, not the biggest arena. If you're from Atlanta, you know that the State Farm Arena is the biggest arena in Atlanta. And it's kind of like that arena. It's where the Hawks play. It's the big time arena in Atlanta, and it's just not the same. Let me see here. PFL season. I'm trying to see. Yeah, I don't know, because you can get fairly cheap tickets to a PFL fight, and I really want to go to the one where Cedric Doumbé's fighting. Just saying. That's June 23rd. And if I might be there if you guys want to come see me. No, I don't know. Probably not going to be there. That was April already, man? Dang, dude. Life is just flying by. That was April was the first PFL fight, man. Let's see. Thursday. June 8th. Oh, that's not tomorrow. That's 2 days. Okay. Let's see if there's any good matchups on this fight card. Featherweights and light heavyweights. That seems like a bit of a dead card, to be honest. Guys, I think I'm going to try and keep going till midnight. I think that's going to be when we're cutting this live stream off. That's 14 minutes from now. That'll give us an hour and a half live stream. Hour and a half and actually hour and 35 minutes. So, yeah, probably about 15 more minutes on the live stream. But, man, thank you guys for the support on this fight, on this live stream. I had 5 likes and such. And, you know, at one point we had a lot of viewers in here. Let's see here. I don't know who's funding the PFL, by the way. Again, Francis and Ngannou, all these guys and however much they're paying, it was crazy. Don't know how they're doing it. Let's see here. Thank you guys. 6 likes, man. That's great. I don't even recall the last time we got 6 likes on something, so thank you, everybody. See, this is when this laptop is cooking, dude. It's cooked right now. It is not showing me the fights. Let's see here. Brendan Laughlin's fighting again. Pinedo. Kabilov versus Diamond. Dude, why don't they just play the full names? Yeah, this thing's cooked. This thing is cooked. It's not pulling up the fights. They've got some crazy animations on their stuff, man. Yeah, I don't know. That starts in a day and 20 hours. Oh, they got Sylvier. That guy was an LFA champion. That's interesting, but, you know, whatever. PFL, I don't know if they're going to be too successful with the seasons. I just don't think the seasons are going to be that popular in MMA. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's going to be the new thing that's overtaking them. You know, he said, you know, we're like the Netflix. That's what the PFL owner said to, who was it, Dana White? Yeah, that's what he said. He said, we're like the Netflix to the Blockbuster. I'm like, okay. I don't know. PFL, I like PFL. I actually like, to be honest, I like a competitive MMA space. I'm not like a diehard just UFC fan. It's like, oh, come on. I hate any other organization. There's so many other good organizations, man. ONE FC is great. Bellator is just very mediocre. And the PFL is good, but like, you know, it's just like nothing has that magic or hype that the UFC has, I don't think. ONE FC's all right with the hype and the, you know, magic, but nothing's got that UFC level, title level magic. But, you know, there's other high level fights. You know, Demetrius Johnson versus Adriano Moraes was a perfect example. You know, they can have good fights over there in other organizations, and I am a fan of more competitive MMA space because, you know, that's how fighters get paid the most. That's what happens in boxing. You know, guys can get bought out their contract in boxing. That's something that is very, very not talked about. That's not something that happens in MMA. But boxers, you have to submit a purse bid, and you can promote the fight if you're willing to put on the most amount of purse. It's like if the UFC was putting on a fight, right? If the UFC said, we're putting on Francis Ngannou, or not Francis Ngannou at this point, but we're putting on John Jones versus Sergey Pavlovich, and then let's say ONE FC got word of it legally in boxing, let's say ONE FC offers them a $3 million purse bid to split it, and the UFC only gives them $1 million to split, then ONE FC would be awarded the rights to the fight because it's more of a bidding thing, which is crazy to me. Like, that's just so different from how MMA works, you know what I mean? You get locked into a UFC contract, that's how much you're getting paid. And I know there's guys like Dana will pay people nice and kind of take care of them when they're not, like, you know, he'll take care of them and, like, give them some locker room bonuses and stuff that we don't even hear about. But, you know, there's guys that in boxing, they just get paid so much. And the crazy thing is, you know, people think it's like these world, you know, because you hear about like Canelo Alvarez, oh my gosh, he's making, you know, $100 million a fight. And I know that's not most boxers. And I know like most boxers are getting paid like very, very low. Actually, most boxers are getting paid less than UFC fighters are. But if you look at it like boxing, there's some no-name guys that make a lot of money. Like, if you think Aljamain Sterling is a no-name in the grand scheme of things, there are no-name boxing champions that get paid millions of dollars to box. Not saying it's a bad thing, but I'm just saying, like, there's guys in boxing, like, you don't have to be a star in boxing to make that much money. You just have to be good. You have to be a world champion. Like, again, the guy who won last weekend, Lee Wood, beat Oh my gosh, who did he bite? He just beat Mauricio Lara in his last fight in the rematch. And like Lee Wood is not drawing tickets. Like Lee Wood is not some giant draw. And he made a great amount of money for that fight. Probably as much as Aljamain Sterling made for his last fight. Probably as much as Henry Cejudo made for his last fight. And there's no reason that should happen because, in my opinion, Aljamain Sterling's a much bigger draw than Lee Wood is. So, I don't know. Just commenting a little bit on the fighter pay. But I think that's an interesting concept because I do wish there was a little bit more of a competitive space, putting some pressure on the UFC. That's why I think it's good that PFL signed Francis Ngannou, man. Because it's like, let's just have some pressure, man. Get these guys paid. And overall, high-paid athletes, it makes for bigger fights, man. It's what happened with Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, Conor McGregor. High-paid. When high-paid fights go down, that's when big fights happen. That's when the super fights truly do happen, is when there's a boatload of money involved. You see it all the time in boxing. When a money fight is made, it's a big-time fight. Every single time. Money fights always deliver, man. And that's what the UFC has a lot of high-level fights, but the UFC doesn't have that many, like, money fights. Like, Conor McGregor, like, boom, that's a money fight. Conor McGregor versus Islam Makhachev, that's a money fight. But, like, Conor McGregor, or, like, Volkanovski versus Islam was a super fight in terms of everything. In terms of how good they are, the skill, the level that those guys are on, that is a super fight, should be considered as such. But a fight it's not a money fight because money has to be involved. And those guys are getting paid. I'm sure Volkanovski's getting paid a good amount of money. I'm sure Islam's getting paid a good amount of money. But it's probably like $1 million. Whereas if, that fight goes down in boxing and those guys are, let's not even say Canelo Alvarez level. Let's say those guys are Devin Haney level. They're making millions. They're making at least $10 million off that fight. I can guarantee you Volkanovski did not make $10 million that night he fought Islam Makhachev. I can just guarantee you. I can say that almost full confidence that he did not make $10 million. Whereas Devin Haney and Lomachenko, guys like that, are making boatloads to sell 200,000 pay-per-view buys. That fight flopped. That fight absolutely flopped. Did 200,000 pay-per-view buys. And that's the thing about boxing. People act like boxing is those guys draw crazy numbers. They don't draw crazy numbers. They don't draw that crazy of numbers. There's a few guys. Canelo Alvarez draws crazy numbers, but doesn't with not the right matchup. Even the Bivol fight, he did not get paid that much because he didn't sell that many pay-per-views on that Bivol fight. He only did probably about 600,000 pay-per-views on that night. Now, yes, when he went for Undisputed against Billy Joe Saunders, or against Caleb Plant, he got paid a lot of money, and he did a lot of pay-per-view buys because that's one of the biggest fights in boxing. I think that was the night UFC 268 went head-to-head with it, I think. And they did, I think, 800,000 pay-per-view buys. I think they did similar numbers that night. And that's a top-level boxing match. And so, you know what? Like, guys like Tyson Fury, I'm sure he's selling probably 500,000, but I don't think the Chisora fight could have sold that many. I think probably 400,000, especially with the rise in illegal streamers, man. Like, I saw BKFC's guy come out and say that they had like 700,000 live streamers. I don't doubt that. I'm not saying making fun of that guy at all, saying, oh, you know what, they didn't have that many. No, they had, I'm sure they had 700,000 illegal streamers watching that fight because it's so prevalent. Nobody's paying pay-per-view these days, man. There's if you're wanting to watch a nice pay-per-view, right, by yourself, sit down with the family, get some snacks out, eat some wings while you're watching a pay-per-view, that's one thing. Put it on the big, beautiful TV screen. That's one thing. But people that are watching the pay-per-views where they're just, sitting here eating, by themselves, like, there's no reason to pay for the pay-per-views nowadays. Like, I get it, it's an illegal thing, but these guys they're not paying pay-per-views. I pay for pay-per-views. I'm not saying I don't pay for pay-per-views, but I'm saying there's people that why would you pay for a pay-per-view? And sometimes I feel that way. I'm like, am I, really, is this worth it? Like, is it worth it this weekend to buy Amanda Nunes versus Irene Aldana just because I'm a UFC fan and I just want to watch the fight on my big TV with the soundbar on? Is it worth it? I don't know. I believe it is, but to a lot of people, it's not worth it. $80 is a lot of money, and at times it's like, I don't know if that's worth it. But I don't watch it illegally. If it's $80, I'm just not gonna watch it. So, man, there we go. We got 1,000, or not 1,000. We've got 90 minutes of live viewership, man. We're gonna go to midnight though. We're gonna end this stream at midnight. We've been talking, dude. We've been talking for so long now, dude. It's crazy. I've legit been just spitting out words, trying to survive right out here. After this live stream, guys, I'm getting a big glass of water. It's gonna be a great time. Great time to be me after this fight, after this live stream. But yeah, guys, let me know if you want to see more live streams, because I do enjoy doing this. I really do enjoy doing this. And again, this might not... I also want to find the best time to do live streams, because sometimes, maybe the daytime live streams would be better. I don't know. I think probably the best time to live stream would probably be about like 6 to maybe 10 o'clock. I think that's when most people are awake, most people are watching. Probably about that time. Probably about 6 to 10, I'd say, is probably the majority of people watching. So we'll see. We'll start figuring it out, see when the best time to live stream is. And again, I'll check again. Add me on my Instagram, guys. I'll put the link in the description on this here in just in a little bit after this live stream wraps up. And it's already on my last video. If you want to go back and watch my latest video, it's my description. My Instagram and stuff is in the description of that. So if you do want to go see my Instagram, TikTok page, Twitter page, it's all going to be there. So yeah, if you want to see all that, make sure you go do that, because you know what? If you want to stay up to date and be like, get notified when I'm about to go live or thinking about doing a live stream, you guys can always see on there as well. And turn on the notifications so you can see on YouTube, because I don't want you guys missing the live stream. I want you guys stopping by. It's been real. It's been really real. And yeah, so we're gonna only improve from here. Gonna get a lot better at doing this live stream stuff. And you know what? As the topics grow on and the people, as there's more topics to talk about and there's more things to talk about, because I've talked about UFC 289 tonight, but like I've just done everything. I've covered so much stuff tonight. It's really been all over the place. So when there's like a news story or something, it'll be a lot better, because I'll be able to cover more specifically on some news story. And when like a fight night or when some big fights get announced or something, we'll be doing it then, because it'll be so much easier to talk for so long about something, because it'll be interesting to see what people's takes on fights are upcoming. And you know what, maybe when this UFC Paris main event gets announced, we'll do that as well. But yeah, we'll be doing all that. So yeah, if you guys also want to see a lot of my predictions, put them a lot on TikTok as well. I'll have my predictions on YouTube for Amanda Nunes versus Irene Aldana, and probably a lot of the main card actually. But yeah, it'll all be there. It'll all be there. Don't know if I'm gonna do predictions on every fight. We'll have to see. But yeah, guys, thank you for the support. It has been real. Yeah, not too much else to say, man. Just been streaming for hour and a half. That's crazy, man. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. Wish you all the best. I'll see you all in the next one. Hope you guys all stay safe and enjoy your night, everybody. Enjoy, man, because have a good night. Want you all have a good night, man. Peace out.